L. Ron Howard wanted to start a cult.
L. Ron Hubbard.
That's 100% L. Ron Howard.
It's 100% L. Ron Hubbard.
It's 100% L. Ron Howard. 100%. What you gotta do is break him down. You gotta L. Ron Howard him.
That's not a thing. So much about Scientology except the guy's name. That's the easiest part of it. What was it? Was he invent Scientology like after he directed Backdraft in Apollo 13?
No, that was Ron Howard. I'm talking about L. Ron Howard.
Oh my God.
Guys, can we please stop?
Hey, how you doing? Happy Wednesday to everybody. If you are somewhere in the other part of the world and it's not Wednesday, then happy Thursday to you. Interesting question. You know, I play that opening every time. And, you know, I know being in Scientology and saying L. Ron Hubbard all the time, over and over and over again, did not seem weird. But when you leave and you hear other people say his name, they usually stumble with L. Ron or LRA. Like the putting the L in the beginning of his name just was not a normal function of regular society to me. And tell me if I'm wrong on that one. But it's just funny saying it that way. So I don't think that his name is actually the easiest part at all. But anyways, I'm here just for a quick video, and I promise this one's quick. Thank you to everyone that's joining, obviously. I'm so glad you guys are here. I have mentioned in several of my lives about the subject of memory. And, you know, I've also talked about a number of times where when I was there, I didn't particularly, at a certain point in my life, after I hit my 20s, I began to realize that I didn't really want to progress in Scientology any further. I didn't see the benefit to it. I only saw people that had progressed failing in life and not doing well. So it wasn't something that I wanted to achieve. I was happy having my own existence and doing my job as best possible and getting as much free time off as I could, whether it be for Christmas or sports days, which we had from time to time. So I was disillusioned with Scientology to that degree. When I left Scientology and I was still towing the line essentially so I could have some sort of communication with my father and my stepmother, I was never going to go in session again. I was never going to go on the meter again. I did not like that. But there were parts of Scientology that still stuck with me that I believed had to be true and were the only things I was ever taught. You're never taught psychology in Scientology. You don't know how the mind works. You didn't even know about the breakthroughs that science had made from fMRI machines and able to study the brain and the different lobes and how that affects people and how, and by the way, that does bring up, I do need to get Jamie Mustard on to talk more about this because he seems very, very well educated on the subject. But what I wanted to do was finally for you guys reference what I was talking about when I said that. When I mentioned that memory is very fallible, that there's a framework that it fits inside of from time to time. Now that does two things for me. One, that is the piece of information that finally was the nail in the coffin as far as my belief of Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard and his technology, because I believe if memory is fallible, and in my opinion, Scientology was based so much on recalling memories in exact detail in order to blow or discharge or remedy pain, unconsciousness, or whatever it may be, anger or emotion, that you needed to exactly recite what happened in that scenario from your memory, that would be the factor that would blow or handle that charge. And they like to call it charge in Scientology. So if memory is imperfect, in my mind, and I'm not a scientist, I'm not even a really smart guy, but in my mind, those two things don't mix. So once I read an actual book on psychology with psychologists who had done real peer-reviewed studies on the subject and had tested it, and I saw that memory was fallible, that kind of went, hey, you know, L. Ron Hubbard is full of shit. He is just a con man. He is lying. Now, do I think that some of the technology that he had in the very beginning, and I call it technology only because that's what it was called. Okay, so let's call it practices. Let's call it processes. Let's call it auditing, whatever you want. A lot of it was talk therapy. And I always believe that talk therapy after I left is something that's beneficial. Now, you add in the complication of the Hubbard e-meter, which is the device that people use to audit, and a bunch of other things, and you convolute it. But in some cases, just talking was helpful. And I think pretty much everyone can agree on that part of it. And some of Scientology, I would say, is beneficial just on that fact alone. Of course, it very, very quickly gets destructive and detrimental because of his abusive policies not intended for children that are bad for children and adults alike. Once you start getting into interrogations and sec checking is another word, or a Scientology word for interrogations, you start creating issues, problems, and trauma. That being said, let's get rolling. So I actually picked an excerpt from the book that I've been talking about, and I have a picture here, and I'm going to pop it up for you guys real quickly. So this is the book. It's called Subliminal: How Your Unconscious Mind Rules Your Behavior, by Leonard Moldenov, who is a Jewish scholar and a fantastic writer. He co-wrote a book with Stephen Hawking called The Universe in a Nutshell, which is how I first heard about him. I have a cousin on my stepmother Barbara's side named John, and he lives in New York. And one year for Christmas, he gave me that book, and you know, I'll be forever thankful because it is a fantastic book, and I really enjoyed it. It's really a layman's guide to physics and quantum physics and all those things that are way beyond my understanding, but it was a book I could read and understand at least a little bit, and it did supplant the fact that I did not have any education, any higher education in mathematics or science, because I was in a cult. So if you've not gotten this book, or if you like psychology, if you like nonfiction, go get the book. It's a fantastic book. It has so many details, interesting little factoids, and pieces of information about the mind that have been discovered in the last 50 to 60 years that if you didn't already know about them, they're kind of fascinating. But this is the one thing that I do talk about when I mention memory. And I even mentioned in my live last night about the subject of how it was kind of crazy, how 3 different people that are very important in my life, Mike Brown, my brother Justin, and my mom Biddy, all remembered that this particular person was at a particular location during a certain time period. They were all wrong. Now, the only reason I didn't agree with them at the moment was because I had spent time with that person later on, and she had told me she was not there. But even though I knew she was not there, in my mind, I had pictures of her being there, wearing a red sweater, just like Justin did, just like Mike did, and just like my mom did. So it goes back to how fallible memory can be and how your framework can change how you see things. It doesn't mean you're a liar or you're dishonest, but you at least have to acknowledge the fact that when you're describing a situation, some of those small details can be changed based on your preferences and experiences. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and read this and the quote that's included. And by the way, I will absolutely get to your questions and any comments near the end of this, because I'm fascinated to hear what you guys have to hear about it, because you guys have had wonderful you are having someone sent me a text, I'm sorry. You guys have wonderful suggestions, and I really, really appreciate that. So here we go. So the beginning of the chapter begins with: the eye that sees is not a mere physical organ, but a means of perception conditioned by the tradition in which its possessor has been reared. Ruth Benedict. That alone is an unbelievable quote. But here we go. The distinction between the conscious and the unconscious. Oh, here, let me pull this up for you guys. I don't think you can read it anyways, but let me just pull it up for you guys. This is what I'm reading from. The distinction between the conscious and the unconscious has been made in one form or another since the time of the Greeks. Among the most influential of the thinkers delving into the psychology of consciousness was the 18th century German philosopher Immanuel Kant. During his time, psychology was not an independent subject, but merely a catch-all category for what philosophers and physiologists discussed when they speculated about the mind. Oh, and guys, we're not doing a game night tonight. We couldn't get that all organized, so I thought I would bore you to death with psychology. So, I apologize in advance if you guys were expecting a fun game night. I just wanted to do this so bad because I wanted to talk about it. Okay, so Their laws concerning human thought processes were not scientific laws, but philosophical pronouncements. Since these thinkers required little empirical basis for their theorizing, each one was free to favor his own purely speculative theory over his rival's purely speculative theory. Now, here's the one I highlighted. Kant's theory was that we actively construct a picture of the world rather than merely documenting objective events, that our perceptions are not based just on what exists, but rather are somehow created and constrained by the general features of the mind. That belief was surprisingly near the modern perspective, though today's scholars generally take a more expansive view than Kant's of the mind's general features, especially with regard to biases arising from our desires, needs, beliefs, and past experiences. Today, we believe that when you look at your mother-in-law, the image you see is based not only on her optical qualities, but also on what is going on in your head. For example, your thoughts about her bizarre child rearing practices, or whether it was a good idea to agree to live next door. Kant felt that empirical psychology could not become a science because you cannot weigh or otherwise measure the events that occur in your brain. In the 19th century, however, scientists took a stab at it. One of the first practitioners was the physiologist E.H. Weber, the man who, in 1834, performed the simple experiment on the sense of touch that involved placing a small reference weight on a spot on his subject's skin, then asking him to judge whether a second weight was heavier or lighter than the first. The interesting thing Weber discovered was that the smallest difference a person could detect was proportional to the magnitude of the reference weight. For example, if you were just barely able to sense that a 6-gram weight was heavier than the reference object that weighed 5 grams, 1 gram would be the smallest detectable difference. But if the reference weight were 10 times heavier, the smallest difference you'd be able to detect would be 10 times as great, in this case, 10 grams. This doesn't sound like an earth-shattering result, but it was crucial to the development of psychology because it made a point. Through experimentation, one can uncover mathematical and scientific laws of mental processing. Okay, so look at, I thought that those paragraphs, that whole beginning section of this chapter were brilliant. It explains so much. So much of Scientology has been said to be a science of the mind. Dianetics was supposed to be a science of the mind. Yet nowhere in that book did L. Ron Hubbard ever get peer-reviewed studies. None of what he did was ever proven or proved. There was no actual studies. Science, since Immanuel Kant and E.H. Weber, has come miles and miles and miles ahead. And now you can actually, in an fMRI machine, you can actually see when a particular thought goes through a person's head. They've even developed computer chips that can create an image based on what part of your brain fires at a certain time, to some degree accurate within, I think, 90 to 95%. So again, fantastic technology. What it disproves about Scientology for me is that Scientology is really most auditing, except for when you get to the, I guess, the BT level, which I never did, but a lot of the basic auditing of Scientology is remembering exact painful moments, unconscious moments, and moments of stress or pain, and recanting those over and over again with exacting details to therefore let go of the pain or trauma associated with them. Well, if the human mind is not capable of remembering those exactly in detail and can't do it without their own biases or framework involved, to me, that proves a little bit that Scientology is a farce. It seems overly simplistic, but it's what I believe. When I tell my stories on here, when I talk about my memories, I'm always very, very aware that I may not get it exactly right. I'm also open to being corrected for that. My door's always open for that. You see my email. If a friend calls me, and Justin, my twin brother, regularly calls me and says, that's not how I remember it. Now, again, Justin and I, a lot of times, will completely describe a memory totally different. It happens all the time. And I get that. And there's almost nothing you can do about that. But if I have someone contact me and say, hey, that's not how that went down, I'm the first person to jump on and correct it. Because I do think, even though I know our memories are fallible and we are telling the basic gist of the story, some of the details that get fed in there, some of the timelines are based on our own framework, our own experience, our own desires, and our own needs. And I do appreciate some of the content creators that I reach out to whenever they do say something that I think may not be correct. I always send an email or a call, and they will tend to correct that. So, and I don't want to be the thought police. I don't want to be the timeline police or anything along that line, but I think it's an important thing to do when we are communicating to the subscribers, to the fans of SPTV, to be at least try to be as precise as possible and be open to getting that sort of information from people. Now, that being said, the main reason I started watching SPTV, one of the only reasons I started watching SPTV, was because of Aaron Smith-Levin. Why do I like Aaron Smith-Levin so much? Why do I like his content so much? As a person, I like Aaron Smith-Levin, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about his content in this particular point. Because every time he told a story, he prefaced it with, he was either not there if he wasn't, or if he was there, he said he was there. But I don't ever see an exaggeration on what he says. I don't ever see something that's blown out of the water. It is what it is. He doesn't add his own bias. He doesn't, well, except for maybe in some people he doesn't like. But again, I can't say that, you know, he like me, is very passionate about things. And I don't want to, I'm not judging his character at all. But when he tells something, and he tells a lot of stories and anecdotes about places I have found his depiction of that to be dead on. And that, I think, is a wonderful quality and something I always appreciate. All right, guys, let me hit the chat real quickly. That was 16 minutes of me just talking. God, I hope I didn't bore you guys to death. Let me see what we got here. First of all, Matt Elliott, MASPTV Canada. Hey, Sterling, so you never answered the question last week. Are you a Chargers fan? No, I am not, Matt. I am not a Chargers fan. I don't like the Chargers. They kind of suck. They're from San Diego, too. Not really a fan of San Diego-based sports teams. San Diego is a great city, though. This has no reference to anything we're talking about. Lori plays, hey, guys, out Christmas shopping with the man-child. That's funny. That's really funny, actually. That's really good. And Dastardly Saboteur, good evening. I'm glad you're in here. I'm so glad you're in here. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions or comments regarding the subject I spoke about, knock yourself out, put them in there. I'm going to see if I can get to them. Here we go. All right. Hey, Jilly. Hello from Alberta, Canada. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. Marie Marion, happy Wednesday, Sterling. Happy Wednesday to you, Marie. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Okay, Allison Metcalf Palumbo. I love your opening. Yeah, so do I. Thank you so much. It is one of my favorite things, and it always makes me laugh. Abdazzle, Lancaster, PA in the house. How you doing? Here we go. Wait a sec. Good morning, TKK. Good morning from Huao Hin. Tell me if I said that right, please. I hope I did. Born Ancient. Hi from North Wales. How you doing from North Wales? That's so cool. Lydia Von Stretchclaw, Elron Howard, the like button. Thank you, Lydia. I think you are consistently the person that reminds me to do this. Please, if you're on here and you're watching, or if you watch it later, hit that like button. Apparently it helps. I don't actually know. I'm basing that completely on what Aaron says. And, you know, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Lydia. Oh, we got Australia in the house. Gunawandai. You know, that I believe that's an ostrich, but that picture just your thumbnail cracks me up. Okay, what else we got? Okay. Q Susie Q. Hi Sterling. How you doing, Q Susie Q? Lori, I so appreciate that you're watching even while you're driving. Hopefully I did not put you to sleep while I read that. You know, that was the one thing I was worried about doing. Lydia Von Stretchclaw. Yes, Jamie Mustard. Guys, the holidays are coming up. I've been super busy. I'm traveling next week, so I have not had a chance to reach back out to Jamie. I am going to reach back out to Jamie, and I definitely want to do an interview with him. I also want to We're going to hit up Kelly Copter in the new year. We've agreed to do that. I want to hit up Mike Brown, and I'm going to be back on with Dylan Gill. There is a lot of people to create with in 2024, and I can't wait to get to it. So thank you so much. Let's see what else we have here. Abdazzle. Jamie's interview blew my mind. You know, I agree. It was fascinating. I mean, again, right in my wheelhouse. I love that sort of stuff. So any books you guys have recommending that talk about that, always fascinated. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, cool. Someone's listening. Atkins in Texas. How you doing? Does that mean it's snowing where you're at or sunny? I can't tell what that means. Okay, let's see. I'm behind as usual, guys. Yeah, Lydia Von Stretchclaw. Memory can be affected in all sorts of ways by trauma too. So that's not good in COS auditing. I agree. Yeah, it absolutely is not good in COS auditing. And of course, you know, L. Ron Hubbard was just pulling this stuff out of his ass. Let's be honest. He was like, let me just write this and see where it goes, with so much placebo effects in Scientology to make people think they were actually happy. And there was absolutely no technology to it at all. Whereas, you know, the thing that Jamie was speaking about actually sounds like technology, and be interested to see what these studies are on that up to this point and the success rate. You know, it's a fascinating subject of mind. Witness, is that book Crushing Baby Davy? Yes, it was in the picture. Yes, it was. It was also covering up his alcohol problem, apparently, because that's what the bottle he's hanging on to. I don't know if you guys remember that. I got to move out of the way. Yeah, he's on a whiskey bottle, guys. He's holding on for his dear life to that whiskey bottle. That may be his only friend left in this world. And I don't say that from lack of experience, guys. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends, and understandably so. Okay, Purple Haze. Psychology is really fun to study. Yes, it is. Sometimes traumatizing because it makes you rethink a lot of your decisions, but generally very fun to study. Okay. Let's see what else we have. I agree with everyone that says that. Shanti, memory is extremely fallible. It's why eyewitness testimonies is very unreliable, and why 3 people witnessing same event can be different accounts. Yes, in this book, it actually describes that exact example. It actually describes very specifically a SA assault, where the girl that was assaulted goes to a lineup in which the person that committed the assault was in, and she couldn't even select him in a group of 6 people in a lineup because of how her memory worked. And I don't want to get into detail about it because you'd have to read the story in the book, but it's pretty fascinating how, because of certain things and how her memory worked, she wasn't even able to identify the person that she had a conversation with eventually. You have to get the whole story to understand what I'm talking about. Please get the book. It's fantastic. Eileen, you put your own spin on things, I guess. Yeah, you do. Sometimes it's harmless. But when you are talking about a human trafficking cult and their abuses and things you do, you're not always going to get it perfect, but try your hardest to get the details as correct as possible. I tend to check with people that were in or around me during that time period before I make a statement, just to see if I can get it as close to what I remember as possible. But again, as we know, even if someone tells me it was a little different, that doesn't necessarily make it exactly the truth or the details exact. The scenario, what happened, those are true. And there's a little nuance in there that you have to understand. So when I talk about, for instance, me seeing Dave Miscavige hit and beat someone, the details of that may be fuzzy. The person I even remember it happening to, I could be wrong about, considering I was, 60 feet away? But I do remember it that way, and I did see it that way. But someone else could have seen it standing 20 feet away from me and have slightly different details. But the fact of the matter is, he did beat that person. That was unquestionable. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay. Hello. What is this? Artsy Tartsy Keyboard Warrior. Hey, y'all. Greetings from Jacksonville, Florida. So cool. Never been to Jacksonville. Would love to go. Hey, happy Thursday from England. Awesome. Or Great Britain. We should say Great Britain, right? Okay. Atkins in Texas. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm glad you said it was not boring. Again, what fascinates people is different with everyone. I don't like rugby, but some people do. So there we go. Neem Polite. Yes, I love psychology too. Thank you for saying that. Okay. Lori plays. It's interesting, Sterling. At a red light. Thank you for specifying that, because we want to make sure you're not texting or chatting on YouTube while driving. Here we go. What else? What else do we have, guys? What else? Yeah, thank you, Witness, for putting the book in the thing one more time here. That is the book. I'm going to leave that up while I'm talking about the rest of that, if you guys are okay with it. Let's see. Yes, Nancy knew. Was looking forward to game night. I've started really looking forward to Wednesday nights just to hear everyone laugh. Oh, well, hopefully another night for Christmas. I hope so. Maybe we can get something together one of these nights. But before I leave, I believe it was you, Nancy, that sent some wonderful Christmas questions, which we really, really appreciate. And I might have to put that in my back pocket and save it for next year. But we're going to try to do something, I hope, because I do know it brings a little bit of joy to you guys, and it definitely brings joy to us. So I hope so. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. Hey, Don Paraso, how you doing? Good to see you again. Yes. Hippie chick 69. Yes. It's funny that I've noticed more and more that when my sister and I tell a family story, sometimes we remember different things altogether. Oh, that is my family to a T. I mean, we will argue for hours over how we remember something specifically. I think the real ability in there is being able to accept that everyone may have a separate memory and letting some of that go, though it's hard. It's definitely hard. In a family setting, in a living room, it's kind of easy. Who cares if that person remembered it that way? If someone's saying something publicly, that's kind of a whole nother story, isn't it? But thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate it. Okay. Mindy Doolin, thank you so much. Hello, Sterling. Happy holidays. If you don't get another live before Xmas Day, stay safe and happy. Thank you so much. You too, and everyone else out there. If for some reason I don't get on here again before Christmas, I am wishing you all a very happy, Merry Christmas and, Happy New Year. But I think I'm going to do a little bit of content while I'm traveling, which could be fun. Don Paraso, do we have a game night tonight? I hope I answered that question. We do not have a game night at this particular moment, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, there we go. Curtis Masters from Canada. Hey, Sterling, how you doing, Curtis Masters? Oh, this is cool. Born Ancient. Well, I love that name. Homework on Thursday morning. I did psychology as part of my psychiatric nurse training. The more perspectives, the better for me. I'm glad to hear that, and I agree. It makes a lot of difference in your interpersonal relationship and your family relationships, and even for dating, if you have a small understanding of psychology. I think so. Not in a manipulative way. It would help more so understand things that occur and happen so you don't take them as personally. How about that? That's what I've been working on for the last 2 years. Not taking so much things personally. Okay. You know what, guys? Abdazzle. My husband has a different memory than me, but I assume that's actually called gaslighting. I don't know. I've never looked into the subject of gaslighting specifically. I know it's a phrase that has become more popular in the last couple of years. So I don't want to comment on it, but I don't think different memories gaslighting. I think if he's trying to convince you that your memory is wrong, that's gaslighting. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys. And how can he convince you yours wrong? How can he be so sure hers is right? So then trying to force it on someone else, that's the gaslighting part, which is the manipulative part, which is the dangerous part in my mind. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's so true. So Atkins in Texas, so interested in body language in general and enjoyed what he writes about it. Sometimes we make huge life decisions based on tiny details that land in our unconscious. So true. Atkins in Texas. I don't know if you remember the story in the book about the German and the, I think it was the German and Spanish wine. I can't remember. There was a grocery store somewhere in the UK where they had German and Spanish wine right next to each other on the shelves. And one week they played German music. They had it up on top and they played German music the whole week. And that week, I believe, 68% of the people bought German wine, and the other percentage bought the Spanish wine. The next week they played Spanish music, and I'm probably getting the what type of music was played wrong, but the next week they played the Spanish music, and more people bought the Spanish wine than German wine. Just because the music was different. They're going there to select a wine. They hear German music, and you kind of go, oh, okay, I'm going to make that. It's just interesting. The mind is just fascinating. But so many things do have to do with unconscious little clues. I mean, look at marketing. I think not Wall Street, but anyways, whatever. Large marketing companies, commercials, even drug advertisers, they know what these things are. They understand that science, and a lot of what they do kind of tick us. Or even Instagram or even Facebook now, they know what catches your eye and what makes you want to potentially buy something. So it is really a science, and it's a fascinating science. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I have to say about that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, Witness, thank you so much. Yes, it is Sterling's email, sterling@tube@proton.me. Guys, about 2 weeks ago, I had an issue with my email on there. So if you emailed me and I did not answer, that may have been why. So if you emailed me 2 to 3 weeks ago and I never replied to you, it's because I can't unlock those emails. So please go ahead and send it to me again. I appreciate that so much. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Free Xeno project of Farsec. Comments, Sterling. This is something I've been saying for years. Hubbard never published anything that could be peer-reviewed and studied. I think you're right on. I agree. So much so. But not when I was in there. No, not at all. When you're in there, you didn't even know there's such a thing as peer-reviewed. It doesn't even occur to you that that's something that happens. That someone's work can be reviewed by other scholars and determined to be valid or not. Because also L. Ron Hubbard sells himself as the Messiah, as the Savior, as essentially the God of Scientology. So you wouldn't even question him. You believed that an individual person could come up with a better idea than a group of people could come up with. And therefore you didn't question his technology at the time, which is brainwashing. Okay. What else do we have here, guys? 32. Hey, Rhonda McNeil. This is my first time catching Sterling live on his channel. I'm so glad I caught you. I'm home on Wednesdays, guys. That's why I never really get a live at 4 o'clock West Coast time, but I'm here today. Usually we're doing game night. And so, yeah, I'm so glad you caught me. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we have, guys. Whoa, hey, what's this? Miss Rami 100, my first Sterling live. Thank you so much for being here. Hi from Romania. Love this video. So interesting. Thank you. That's so cool, from Romania. That's awesome. Never been. Would love to go. Thank you so much. Abdazzle. Sterling, have you ever been hit on so much in your entire life? No. And is someone hitting on me? Did I miss that? Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. What? No, no, I didn't know anyone was hitting on me, but yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Oh, blow drill. I'm going to unsubscribe just so I can subscribe again. Great job getting through that info. Thank you. Thank you, Dylan and blow drill. And you know, that conversation with you last week kind of sparked this. I really liked your insightful, educated, and well put analysis of how a sociopathic personality can get into a cult like Scientology, and it just puts it on steroids. So something I definitely want to talk to you about eventually. I really liked your insight into that. Thank you so much, Blowdrill. Belfonte PA, Sue Keller. Hey, Belfonte PA, love your channel and collabs with Reese. I love my collabs with Reese too. I actually like my collabs with Reese more than I love my own channel, believe it or not. Here we go. What else? Super Pup. Comment, very enlightening. Recently, I had a conversation with my siblings, both older, regarding a traumatic experience. 3 individuals, 3 experience as we recollect now. It's wild, guys. It is really wild. A game for you on the holidays, which I wouldn't necessarily suggest, but if you are sitting all together for Christmas dinner, you guys could try telling You could pick a specific event and all tell exactly how you remembered that, but I don't know if that's going to end in a fight and you guys being angry with each other. So maybe just stick to a board game. But it would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? You guys can test these theories. Just do not come back and blame me. I only suggested the book. Okay. Ooh, Atkins in Texas. Of course, I always think of books I want to recommend to you based on what you talk about. Young on Dreams comes to mind. I got to read that. Guys, I'm still reading Mitch Brisker's book, which is actually fantastic. And one of the things I'm going to be doing in the very near future to get you guys some short content, because a lot of my content's an hour, hour and a half. I'm always going to do my discussions with Reese, where we're not going to actually talk about Scientology. We're going to talk about life. But one of my ideas is to take these books I have behind me and excerpt paragraphs or events that I had some connection to, and then tell you about them, how I saw them and how I observed them and what I thought about them. And then we could get your observations on them. And just maybe you guys will also go buy all these books if you hadn't already, because again, Leah's book, Jenna's book, Janice's book, Mark's book, and I don't have Mitch's book here because it's actually in my bag, and Amy's book, and Mike Rinder's book, all fantastic books. All fantastic books. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, Neem Polite. You should sync up with Natalie Webster at some point. She's doing similar to you and wanting to talk about life after the call. Wonderful. Wonderful. I should do that. She looks so familiar to me. I'm just wondering if I knew her when I was there, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask. Okay, what else we have? Layla Fernandez. Just arrived, catching up in 2x speed. I like when Sterling squeezes his eyes. Okay, thank you so much. Maybe that's the flirting you were talking about. Okay. Ann Battles, please do a live with Kelly this winter. So far in Minnesota, no snow temps in the 40s. Wow. No, I've talked to Kelly. It's just been a scheduling issue with both of us. I'm also not very pushy, and I understand it's the holidays. So I wanted our live together to just be natural, easygoing, with no stress. And you know, she for whatever reason, her just personality to me is just so pleasant and endearing, and she got a little twinkle in her smile that just makes me want to talk to her. So I don't want to do it without any other stress in there, and I really want to hear her story in detail and talk to her about it. I also love how creative she is, and that's something. Video editing and shooting and all those sort of things are something I really like doing, and I want to talk to her about that as well, because I have a feeling she could give me some wonderful tips. She's got a skill you can't teach, that is for sure. Okay, here we go. What else do we have? Yes, what is this? Kat, hi Sterling, my first live with you. Usually watch you with Reese. Kat, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, Rhonda McNeil, you're back. Kat, me too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Artsy Tartsy Keyboard Warrior. Cold in Jacksonville, Florida the past few days. Burr. What's cold in Florida? Was it a freezing 65? No, guys, I think 65 is freezing too. Okay. Okay, Matt. Matt Elliott, MASPTV Canada. My mom always said, if I use as much memory that I do on movies, TV shows, sports, and school, I could have been an A+ student. I never saw actually being a chance. I agree. If I put as much effort into my schooling as I did my sports, who knows where I would have been. But, you know, hey, we have our hobbies, right? Okay, guys, let me see if there's any other questions from here. I do want to say, this is John Stowell. Hi from Spokane, Washington. Love your show. Thank you so much. Is the Oregon? I have no clue, guys. Guys, I really don't have a lot of information on Scientology organizations. I was at Golden Era Productions and the international base for the entirety of my Sea Org career and most of my Scientology career. So here we go. Let's see what we got. Thank you so much, Artsy Tartsy Keyboard Warrior. But I think I gotten you up there too much. Okay. Guys, if you have any more questions, I'm going to pop them in here. Oh, 1 second. I cannot skip over this one. That Curious Cat. You better do content over Christmas, Sterling. What will we do without you? Seriously, you guys are not waiting for me to do content over Christmas. I know that for a fact. I hope you guys aren't watching me over Christmas. I hope you guys are having a great time with your family, enjoying it and drinking and opening presents and hopefully getting what you wanted. But I may do a couple little things, even if it's just to pop on there and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I cannot wait to get back on with that Curious Cat in the new year, in 2024, because guys, she does a good interview. There's no question about that. Okay. Eileen, I don't know enough about the subject. Most people don't. I need to inform myself more. Go ahead and get that book. It's a wonderful book. I don't pretend to know a whole lot about the subject at all. You know, I'm just a layman when it comes to psychology, but I do enjoy reading about it. Okay. Nancy, new question. Most likely to have been the one to have not arranged game night in plenty of time. Oh God. You know what? Here, I'm going to have to, you're going to make me write on my board for that one. And you know, when I pull my board out, someone's in trouble. Most likely to have been the one not to have not arranged game night in plenty of time. Well, guys, who's the person that always gets on here last? Who's the person that puts their live notices last? I'm going to go with this guy here. Only because I had so much going on this morning that I don't think I was going to make it in the end. So it kind of worked out for me. And I was kind of happy a little bit that I got my Christmas shopping and other things done today. But again, you know, it's not only me. So I think we're going to do it soon. But that's a funny question. Here we go. So well said. What else here? Okay. Quickly. Oh, here we go. There's another suggestion from Atkinson, Texas. Here I go, recommending to you again, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. One of the agreements is about assumptions and taking things personally. If you're working on that, it might help. Well, that's fantastic. Now I got to check that out. What else do we have? Okay, guys, we're getting close. I'm going to hit 45 minutes and we're done. Breezy new project. Sorry, my dinner is ready. Talk to you all later. I'll catch you the rest later. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Catch you later, dude. Okay. No reason to apologize. I'm sorry. L. Ron Howard comes across as a weirdo to me. Really can't imagine taking him as a messiah. When you're in a cult, all those strange quirks that L. Ron Hubbard has come across as endearing and clever and sometimes funny. You don't see him that way until you leave. Then you go, that's a little weird. That's a little strange. That's a little creepy. It's just how it is. You know, you grew up listening to his voice. So you don't have to apologize for it, but just know from us that grew up in Scientology, that is how you look at it, no matter how you do it. Dark sarcasm. How did you get caught up in Scientology? I was born into Scientology. I am a third-generation Scientologist and a second-generation Sea Org member. Yep, I'm making that happen, guys. That new. I'm making sure we define Scientologist and Sea Org member generations. Okay. Jenny Wong. Hi, Sterling. You may not like rugby, but you're going to love rugby league when you see it in March with Blow Drill. Okay. You know what? I'm totally okay. I'm being convinced of that. Guys, I didn't used to like football, soccer, and I love it now. So, you know, I can be convinced of that, I'm sure. All right. Here we go. Don't play Monopoly if it's a board game. You know what? Purple Haze, don't play Monopoly if a board game, LOL. No, don't. But Monopoly Deal is a fantastic game if you haven't played it. It's a card game. It's Monopoly, but it's quick, it's fast, it's fun. You can steal properties, you can bill people. It is awesome. And Justin sucks at it. So it's very enjoyable for me because I beat him a lot of the times and his girlfriend crushes him all the time. So it's a lot of fun. Monopoly Deal. Buy it, guys. It's really fun. Okay, what else do we have? Jamie L. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and happy trails. Blessings from San Diego. Back at you. San Diego's awesome. One of my favorite towns. SP Star Shine. I'm late to the live stream. Don't worry about it. You're good. You can catch up. Most of the interesting stuff was in the beginning anyways. I'm just blabbering at the end and trying to say hi to as much people as possible. Okay, let's see. Ooh, let's see what this is. Amber Vaness. Sterling, I went to a family party this last weekend and my stepmother pulled out a bottle of Riesling. It was actually really good. I thought it was funny. That's hilarious. I still haven't tried Riesling. You know what? Maybe I bring my Riesling or I buy Riesling when I travel. And when I talk to Reese on either Christmas Day or the day after, I will be sipping Riesling. How cool would that be? That would just be fun. There we go. We'll try that. I love that story, Amber. That's cool. Okay. Witness, this is a debated subject, but I actually agree with you. I drive a lot and you can only listen to music so many times over and over again, or even new stuff. And I really think time in the car can be wasted unless you're learning something. So I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts while I'm in the car. So I agree with you. What else do we have? We have another. Rena Faye, Scotland. Hi from Glasgow. Love learning about Church of Scientology. Been watching SPTV recently, and you and Reese are my favorites. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's so cool. Okay. Thank you, Abdazzle. Okay, what else do we have here? Layla Fernandez. I have a master's in psychology. Scientology and all cults in general are actually very interesting. No, I agree. There's no question Scientology is interesting. And I think all cults are interesting. I don't think we'd have a channels if that wasn't the case. I really don't, because it is a kind of a fascinating subject that in the United States, in this time, that there can be a cult like Scientology that still gets away with a lot of things that they get away with. It is quite shocking, but I think there's inroads being made into that. I think there are times coming closer and closer to an end, or at least a time when they can no longer harass and hurt people, and where they're just going to internalize and just shrink smaller and smaller as the years go by, because they're going to lose their tax exempt status. At least I hope so. Okay. What else do we have? Eileen, I'm not smart enough to understand Carl Jung. I'm probably not either, guys. Please don't think that because I read these sort of books, I'm pretentious or I think I'm smart. I am not. I'm run of the mill when it comes to this. I just enjoy these subjects because they fascinate me. I'm not that smart. Okay. What else? Ooh, brutal. What? Laura Plays, it's been 43 the last 2 mornings in Tampa when taking the dog out. That is cold. Ouch. Oh, I hope it warms up because I am going to Florida. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Purple Haze. I'll check my phone with bated breath for a Sterling Live. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I maybe I say it too much, but you guys being in here and contributing and commenting really does make this enjoyable. Mike Harper, L. Ron Hoover. That's funny. That's actually pretty funny. Layla Fernandez, again, very, very good comment. It's fascinating how cognitive dissonance works and memories. Me and my brother usually roast my mother a lot on familial events. So do I. And so does Justin. We do that to our mom quite a bit. We honestly pick on her a little bit more than we should. She is very smart, but we do pick on her on some stuff just for the fun of it. It's enjoyable. What can I say? Okay. I'm going to get to the end here, guys. I'm at 47. We're just going to go to 50. And again, I've lied. Okay. Okay. What else do we have? Shelly, you're welcome for taking the time for you. Thank you for being here for me. I really appreciate it. Dark Sarcasm. How did you end up at Golden Era and Scientology? Well, those are two separate questions. So Golden Era Production is pretty simple. My mom was at the international base / Golden Era Productions. They created a ranch 15 minutes away from Golden Era Productions. So I was brought up to that ranch. It's a little more complicated and nuanced than that. I've talked about it on my channel before, but that is the reason I got to Golden Era Productions, essentially. Okay. In the short form. All right. Okay. That Abdazzle, that is what I was trying to say. I am trying to make fetch happen, guys. Thank you so much. Here we go. Yes, Amber Vanessa. That would make you second generation for both. That's cool. That is cool. Okay. Atkins in Texas. That is the funny thing about brainwashing, is that it brainwashes you. It can happen to anyone. It really can. Intelligence, I'm finding out, is not a factor in that. There are some wicked smart people in Scientology, or that were in Scientology and left. Jeff Hawkins is one of them. My dad is one of them. I mean, really, really just smart people, very high IQs. And so it really doesn't always, isn't the only factor. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, what else do we have? Yes, guys. Megan Magia, if you have not tried Monopoly Deal, it is a hidden gem. I promise you. If you like Uno, if you like quicker card games that are a little more strategic, where you can talk trash, Monopoly Deal is the game. It is so, so good. I promise you. Try it out. Okay. I should be sponsored by them. Oh, here we go. What else do we have? I'm just going to bounce real quickly to the end here. I hope I'm getting everybody. All right. How did it take this long to get you, Blake? Very insightful video on the mind, Sterling. You are a very virtuous person, and I really appreciate content like this. You are very smart because of your enjoyment in important subjects like this. Thank you so much, Blake. I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment. Great question, Dastardly Saboteur. Sterling, do you still clear words? Yes, I do. I don't have a dictionary next to me all the time. If it's a word and I can get the basic meaning of the word based on the context it's used, I'll go with that. But every once in a while, I do have to look up a word. Gaslighting is a word I had to look up, but I did not use any sentences. So for whatever reason, I always forget the definition of what gaslighting means. But it's also not just a word. It's actually quite an intricate and nuanced subject that I would like to study at some point. But yeah, there we go. That's what it is. Oh, Gun Wandai. Thanks, Sterling. Try an I should say this word. Aussie Riesling. It's because you put Riesling at the end, makes it Aussie Riesling. There we go. I nailed it, guys. On the fourth try. What else, guys? Okay, I'm almost out of here. Almost out of here. I promise. Blake Reed again. Thank you for the super chat, dude. I hope you have a good week so far, Sterling. I think you could make for an awesome psychologist if you wanted. Your mind and spirit are free. I have a friend, a close friend, a friend that you've heard of. You've heard her name mentioned several times. She's going back to school to get a psychology degree after being in a cult her entire life. She's very smart. I respect her for it. And one of these days, I'm going to get her on my channel. And we're going to talk about this. And I'm so proud of her that she's going back to college to get that. So good. So good. Okay. Emily Blythe. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. So nice. Hot Mess Express, one of my favorite names. Question, Sterling, do you think the repetitive nature of looking up words can cause OCD of sorts? Ooh, good question. I would say I'm OCD at least a little bit, but I hated constantly looking up words. It annoyed me because you'd be reading one page and you had to look up 4 words. And by the time you finish the page, you're supposed to understand it better because you were looking up words. By the time I got to the end of the page, I need to go back and read the whole thing because I missed the context of everything because I was so focused on looking up a word, using a definition, and doing everything else. The only thing I could take away from that particular thing is I love etymology. I hope I said that right. I love the derivations of words. Oh, that fascinates me to no end. I will just sometimes for fun, go look up the derivation of a word to see where it came from. Because I know it's interesting to me. Anyone that wants to write nerd in the chat, you're welcome to do that right now. Okay. Oh, yes. Pause for Andrea. Uno flip card game is more fun than regular Uno. Absolutely. Definitely agree with you about Monopoly Deal. My son almost always wins. Oh, that's not nice. He should let you win every once in a while. By the way, my mom wouldn't play with Justin and I when we were down there. She would not do it for some reason. I don't know why she wouldn't do it, but I'm going to get her to do it one of these days. Okay. Kay's in the house. Kay, you're a sweetheart, by the way, Kay. Sterling, we could talk about all the gaslighting in the church. So many examples. You know what? If you ever want to come on and talk about that, I'm golden. I do believe that the false purpose rundown, FPRD, it's a process in Scientology. I'm not going to get into detail of it, but it's one of the excruciating ones, one of the traumatizing processes in Scientology. But I believe that whole premise of that is gaslighting, where you're made to believe what you said was absolutely wrong, specifically if you said something bad about L. Ron Howard or Captain David Miscavige. But yes, when you're ready to do it, Kay, I will get on. You're a person I would like to talk to about that. Okay. What else do we have? Hot Mess Express, you're welcome. And it was a great question. Amber Vanass, have a great night. I'll see you later. Hey, those of you that put nerd in there, thank you so much. I knew you meant it. Okay, guys, 54. I'm in at 55. Anyone else got a question in there? Nerd for sure. Okay. Justine Carter. Question. After being in Church of Scientology from a child, why, when a lot of you get out, you don't go back to school and get your GED so you can say, I graduated from high school? It never occurred to me. It really, really didn't. That is a fantastic question. It never occurred to me. I wanted to just get somewhere and start making money and start living my life right away. It would have been a good idea. In the long run, I had a lot of times where I applied for a job that required that, and it kind of was a hindrance for me. But, you know, my personality helped me get through some of that, thankfully, and it didn't, in the end, stop me that much. But it's not a bad idea, and I do think quite a few people do it, actually. I just didn't, and I don't think my brother Justin did either. Okay. What else do we have? Anything else, guys? Throw questions in there. Oh, SP Sar Shine from Ireland. Good night. Good night. Hey, Sharon Paris. Hello from Alabama. Yay, Kay's in the house. Love derivation helps you in knowing, learning different languages. Merry Christmas. It actually really does help you with other languages. Sometimes you can actually understand what someone's saying because you knew the derivation of the word was Latin, French, Spanish, etc. Okay. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Almost to the end. I think we're at the end. Hey, again, let me take this down. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. I hope you guys are spending times with your family. I hope you're seeing your loved ones. Even if you're going through a hard time, I hope you somehow make it a good time, at least for Christmas. It is one of my favorite holidays in the world. It's magical. I love listening to Frank Sinatra's White Christmas. I will play that all day long, and I love it. I'm going to hit you with my outro real quickly, guys. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you guys later.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?